you're going to be three-dimensional things on here.
For the protagonist?
For your main character, who is Charlie. Okay, so this would be all about Charlie, all his feelings, all the things he saw, all the people he interacted, and then you're going to put historical things behind it. Teaching 7th graders is a real challenge, but that's part of the excitement. What I like about them is that they're really open to ideas. They want to explore different topics, and they don't want you to tell them what to do, so it influences your teaching. This is fiction, but he's used some people in his family as part, so I thought that was kind of neat that he slipped that in. This term we're working on a book called The Watsons Go to Birmingham, 1963, and that's by Christopher Paul Curtis. The story is about siblings and how they get along, but the other facet of it is about a bombing in Birmingham. So the kids find out a historical perspective and how that affects characters in a book. How you approach a story and introduce it to them will determine whether or not they'll get involved in the story. Then once they're in the story, keeping them engaged is another whole issue. Helping them to look at characters as people and to try to personalize and make connections is something that I found really is helpful. One of the techniques that I use to help them really see and feel the characters is an activity called tableau. So in order to let you have a sense of what you're going to be doing tomorrow, I need 5 volunteers, and I need these people to move, okay? The volunteers, I need Mr. Watson, Mrs. Watson, Byron, Joetta. Tableau is a way of bringing kids together in a group to freeze frame a particular event in a story that's a very important event, and it may affect the characters in a certain way, and it'll move the plot of the story along. And it's an excellent tool for just talking through what's happened in the story and also looking at the way the characters are changing or developing. You people come up here. Okay. Need a little drama in your life? So do I. Okay. All right, you ready? What? When we miss it, we got everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you have to come in close to me. Okay. What you're gonna do is a scene. Okay. From chapter 1. Okay.
Okay.
And you have to decide how you must think about facial expression and body language because you can't talk. All right? You got to convey this scene. All right, you are going to convey the scene of Byron with his lips stuck on the car. Okay? But don't talk. Don't talk. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to decide who is which character and how you want to position yourself. Okay? Now I'm going to explain tableau to them. Okay? All right, let me explain what's happening because tomorrow you're going to do this also. This is called tableau. Don't talk loud, guys, because if they hear you. What you're going to do is, in a group, you're going to create a scene. And I'm going to take the tambourine, and the whole time I have the tambourine, your heads will be down. So let's practice this. Put your heads down. And you can't look. It's not fair to peek. Ebony, I'm watching you. Okay. When I do that, put your heads up. Now, when your heads come up, you will see a scene frozen in time in front of you, okay? And you have to decide what scene it is. But don't all yell. But if you think you know, put your hand up. Okay, yeah. Here, come here a minute. Who's Byron?
What? I'm Byron.
Okay, you should be yelling because I'm the chair.
Okay.
Okay. All right, heads down. Because your back is to anything. Your audience can't see you. Show me when you're ready. Ready? Okay, Charlie.
When Byron is stuck to the car.
When Byron has his lips stuck to the car.
Yeah.
All right, now wait. One person can come up and touch one of the characters. But the character must speak like the character and say what's going on. So John, you want to do that? Come up and touch somebody. And the character can explain why they're doing what they're doing. Okay, stop, freeze. Some other character. Come, Catherine, come touch somebody.
missing your reflection. You got stuck to the mirror, didn't you?
Which character is he playing? His dad, right? Okay, go sit down. No.
That was Kenny.
You were Kenny? You were so big, I was thinking about your size. Okay, go sit down. And I'm going to, at each group tomorrow, I'm going to assign you a chapter. You've got 5 minutes to figure out what scene as a group you want to do tomorrow. You can bring in just 1, maximum 2 props. Okay, you can put the desks back. Thank you, guys. In the beginning, when you first introduce the tableau activity, it's really important to model it. And if you don't spend enough time, I found with one class, spending the time modeling it helps them to be more successful. You guys have chapter 4, so you got to find a scene in chapter 4. And then giving them time to reread the section of the story that they're actually framing helps them get the context and the overall sense of what was happening in the chapter.
We got to do chapter 4.
Yeah, that is in chapter 4.
What is it?
The part when he was beating up the kid.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're bonehead.
Buffhead?
Even in it?
No. I'm Byron.
I'm Buffhead.
The important thing is that they have the choice of the scene and that they talk through whether or not they can manage the scene in this freeze frame kind of activity, and that they understand the character, where the character is coming from at that point in time.
You're Larry.
Oh no, I would have the bus driver sitting down in her seat. Come on.
And then,
no,
like,
we
if
come on.
someone
I'm
touches you,
I'm a him.
or if someone comes up and touches him, then you have to go, I know something about your mama.
And what are you gonna do? And then you say hi, but you can't say
She says, ha ha, you're cut your cornflake.
And if someone touches me, I'm gonna go, I'm not gonna be picked on anymore.
They spend some time figuring out their scenes, and then the next day they present their scenes to the class. Ready? Arnold?
I think it's with Kenny and his family huddling together from the cold, trying to stay warm.
Okay, tell us something more about that scene, Katie?
And Byron is like away because he doesn't want anyone to like touch him or anything.
So the rest of the family is huddled together?
Mhm.
All right. Want to tap somebody? All right, Ebony, go tap somebody.
Should have never brought me here. It's all cold in here.
Who's that? Who is that? That's Mrs. Watson. Go ahead, tap somebody else.
It's cold in here.
Last person.
Can I go tap somebody?
Yep.
Alrighty.
Why don't you watch some TV, take your mind off the coldness?
Okay. What comes after when Dad says, try to get your mind off being cold? What does Dad do next?
Turns on the news or the weather channel or one of those.
Turn that news channel on. And what was the news reporter talking about?
Saying how cold it's supposed to be that night.
Yes. And what did Dad do then? What did he do?
He turned it off and started telling a story.
Tyrone? Mr. Watson? Mr. Watson, do you remember the story you were telling your family? You want to hop up and tell a little bit about that story?
I'll tell it for you.
Who knows the story that Mr. Watson told his kids to get their mind off? Okay. Austin?
It was about that ham bone guy that had like a ham bone head, and he was trying to marry his mom, but like she didn't marry him because he had a ham bone head.
Yeah, and he said you could have been the ham bonettes, right? So they should be happy in that. So he was cutting up to get their minds off of it, right? Okay, good job. With Tableau, your basic role is make sure they're clear on the expectations for the activity, that they have the things that they need to get started, and then to be the one who controls the start and stop. The majority of people in the class really want to do this activity again. There are 3 people who are unsure about that. I want you to listen to what they say and come up with a response that might change their position, all right, as to whether we should do the activity again. Okay. Go ahead and say what you said, Mitch.
I think the activity was a really good idea. It was a really fun activity. It's just that I think it was a bad idea how you had to tap someone to hear what they were saying because you didn't get the full idea of the scene because you just got to tap one person and you decide what they were doing. But if you heard what everyone was saying at once, you could really see the scene happen before your eyes.
So what you would have liked to have had people talk as they were in the scene.
More like a skit. Yeah.
More like a skit. Okay.
I happen to think it was a fun learning experience, but some people could have gone out of control. But I found that everybody was pretty good on this.
Okay.
I liked the activity. It was fun, but I think that it made a big mess in the classroom, and people didn't understand what they were doing because some people just did what the other teammates told them to do, and they didn't understand why we were doing this to review and go back over what we've read.
Okay. Can somebody there respond to what Catherine said? All right, Austin?
I think that it was actually very good because we got to learn and it helped us understand like what the scene would look like if it was really acted out or if somebody were to like do it in a play, and it helped us see what was going on in the book.
It's really important for me as a teacher to understand how activities are affecting my students, and so I spent some time allowing them to give me feedback, what they liked, what worked well, and what they didn't like, and to modify it so all the kids that participate can feel successful. Okay, so if I asked you a couple chapters down the road, take time in a group and write a little skit that shows the main events and the character reactions in that chapter, would that be a good thing to consider? Everybody think that way? Good. I liked it overall. For me, it's the first time too, and working with this many people, that's for sure. Okay, you can take your seats. Thank you. The activities went off so well. I have done Tableau with other classes in other years, but this is the first time I've had to try it with them. I think I have a lot of kids this year who are very drama-oriented, and so it's right up their alley. And it's gotten some kids involved that I haven't seen really involved this year either, where they're speaking and they're in front of a group. I think what you see when you are participating in this, that there's a lot of ways to get at the way kids are intelligent, and they can show you if you try a lot of different activities.